Will you make a baby with me, brother? Again, what do I expect from a nigga who eats his pets?
He's just like, so, wanna f my dogs?
What? Chainsaw Man's author is insane.
Chainsaw Man is a story about a man who's a chainsaw.
Valid. Ooh, he has a chainsaw penis.
Chainsaw Man is
See, he thought he had a chainsaw penis too. I wasn't the only one. Oh, he became your penis.
Possibly the hottest anticipated IP in anime right now. Recently, it doesn't seem like Shonen Jump can miss when it comes to their titles being guaranteed mega hits. Jujutsu Kaisen, the new kid on the block that everyone seems to talk about.
Yeah,
Demon
that's
Slayer,
fire.
only broke sales record imaginable and completely revolutionized anime movie tie-ins forever. Spy X Family.
Demon Slayer is just like Avatar the movie, bro. It looks pretty, but the plot is ass, which makes it mid. It just has revolutionary visuals, that's it. Mid.
I think more people in the anime community watch this than took showers, and yet even with that, it feels like there's just as much hype for Chainsaw Man, even though it hasn't even started airing yet. 180,000 people were waiting in the lobby for the new trailer drop. The trailer numbers have got upwards of 17 million views on YouTube, which is pretty much unheard of for a new upcoming IP. I mean, these are the kinds of numbers Attack on Titan final season is getting, and that's—
Its trailer got more than Attack on Titan? Okay. That's stiff competition right there. That's crazy comp.
Attack on Titan final season. And judging from these trailers alone, this might be one of the most beautiful things Studio Mappa have produced. I mean,
debatable.
Just look at this. It's beautiful. When this anime finally drops, it's pretty much set to take over the anime community and further cement Shonen Jump as the powerhouse of anime and manga. But
hasn't already said
that? Man. Wait, hold on a second, hold on! I want to wait till the anime starts airing before I tackle this behemoth of a story because I've said this a few times before, but I haven't actually read the Chainsaw Man manga yet.
Me either. I mean, I'm on episode 2. We watched episode 2 together.
For the first time via anime if it ends up looking this good? What I have done though is read pretty much everything else the author has done. Tatsuki Fujimoto is one of the hottest names in manga right now, and while Chainsaw Man is busy taking over the world, I wanted to take a chance to talk about some of his other works, because after perusing, I fully believe that he might be one of my new favorite manga artists of all time. Reading this guy's work and seeing his current path in manga, I honestly think we might be witnessing the journey of one of the greatest manga artists of our time. Yeah.
You hear that, Oda? He's basically just calling you mid. See the fuck up, Oda, because you're losing your spot.
Burn this name into your memory, because this guy
I'll proceed to levitate.
Could well possibly be the new face of manga. Everything he's touched without—
It would be a nigga like that who makes Chainsaw Man, huh? That just would be the type of person.
Exception is, in my opinion, worth a read. So if you're looking for something to hold you over from that Chainsaw Man hype, this is the perfect place to look. Let's start with Fire Punch. Fire Punch is a story about a man who punches things.
Oh, really?
With fire.
Oh, wow.
Nailed it. It's the end of the world. The earth has frozen over into an ice age, plunging everyone into a never-ending winter that has pushed life to the edge.
To your eternity?
Plants won't grow, animals are dead, and humanity is on the brink of extinction. Thankfully, there have been some humans that have been blessed with superpowers and can perform feats of miracle, like our main character Agni, who's been blessed with the ability to regenerate. Under any other circumstance, this would be his opportunity to be a superhero, fire. But in this barren wasteland, there's only one way his power can be useful.
No.
As an infinite food source.
Imagine eating your son's arm every day to survive. Imagine getting your arm cut off multiple times a day. Okay, plot looks fire so far.
Arm after arm, he painfully severs his limbs for his sister and village to feast upon, so they don't starve to death, even though there's little—
So it's not 1 or 2 times a day. This nigga's losing 10 arms a day.
Reason for anyone to keep the will to survive and live on this kind of way. This is how Fire Punch opens up its world and introduces you to the story that you're about to experience. Because one day, after encountering another group of people who find out this village has resorted to cannibalism to survive, another blessed human takes it upon himself to cleanse the entire village with his own powers by burning everyone alive with a flame that cannot be extinguished until the subject is dead. Unfortunately for Agni, this means he's been set ablaze with a flame that will never stop burning him, as he regenerates faster than his body can turn to ash. For 1 whole year, he could do nothing nothing but writhe around in pain, constantly burning to death but unable to ever die. 3 years pass until he can slightly move around by chewing his tongue off to distract him from the pain. 5 years before he learns to breathe with the pain of the flame searing his lungs upon every breath. And only after 8 years of constantly burning is he fully able to adapt to the pain.
He made himself feel better by biting his tongue off.
The first thing he does is he makes a fist, engulfed in flames, and goes, "I'ma punch that motherfucker who did this to me." Yeah. How's that for an origin story? Oh, look at this man.
That's a fire origin story.
Spider bite painful? Did it give you a boo-boo? Oh, that looks like a painful boo-boo. Oh, is the widow baby sad because his parents got shot and now he listens to My Chemical Romance? Widow baby, don't be sad. It's gonna be okay. Fuck that. How about having your friends and family burned alive in front of you only to have your entire existence be in constant searing pain of being scorched to death every moment of your life?
Doesn't
Fire Punch
sound
takes
fun.
the superpowered superhuman stories you know and completely flips it on its head. It
What's that
reshapes
mean?
and reframes what you think having superpowers would be like by dropping you into one of the most brutal and unforgiving worlds I've seen in manga. You got electric powers? Fantastic. Give me a hammer so I can go around saving the world like Thor, right?
Yeah.
Nah, actually, you know what? You can be really useful as a personal battery that people can use to power their homes. Firepower? Brilliant.
No, I don't think y'all understand what he's saying. That means their whole existence is this. All their arms are chained up and they're just producing electricity. They're a slave. Wait, do they not have no clothes on the bottom? Do they put some tube over their penis too?
You can't your parents.
People can use to power their homes. Firepower? Brilliant. We're going through an ice age right now, so heat's the one thing humans need.
True.
So let's just strap you down so you can become a personal industrial power plant. If you have powers, you're not just a human being, but a natural resource people need to expend in order to survive. And by God, are people going to survive by any means necessary. This is a world without hope, and Fire Punch uses this as a vehicle to dive right into the deep end to showcase some of the worst sides of humanity and the things people will turn to in times of death.
How are you trying to look cute with a fucking severed arm in your hand? This is the Walking Dead Riz right here. World War Z Riz.
Inspiration. We've seen stories like this before, but Fujimoto manages to present them in a way that feels fresh and new. It's a dark, deep, introspective story that somehow finds time to make some kick-ass action along the way as well. And even then, he finds his own way to do things. Like, I don't know why in basically every story I've seen with superpowers, there seems to be this unspoken agreement that no more than 2 people will have exactly the same power. And if 2 people in the world do meet with the same power, it's just like, oh, hey, you know, I'm like the token fire guy in the story, so I guess we've got to battle to the death and stuff, okay? Fire Punch says, fuck that. Let's have a full-on slaughter fest with a room full of Wolverines who can regenerate and see who comes out on top.
So if you have the same power, it's basically the Hunger Games. That's what that is. It's the Hunger Games. It's a battle royale. I would read this, but the art, I don't like the art style. Some of the characters look ass to me.
People here know what kind of powers exist and have adapted fighting styles that play to their strengths and weaknesses of the—
You know what? Maybe the art style isn't too bad. Maybe the art style is kind of nice. Maybe it does have a pretty good art style. I'm judging it a little too early.
powers they go up against. To a regenerative, body parts can be a resource, a weapon to be used to give you an advantage. Agni gets impaled, fucking chops his own head off midair so he can regenerate faster and get back in the fight, chucks his arm at someone and sets them on fire. Somehow in this world gone mad, Fire Punch still feels like it's steeped in realism. This is how people would fight, act, and live if shit like this actually happened in the real world. This is a story of nihilism in a desolate world with little reason to wake up and continue living, where—
The story of nihilism. What's the definition of nihilism?
Rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless.
Okay.
This is a story of nihilism. In a desolate world with little reason to wake up and continue living, where can you even begin to find meaning in life? Was there even one to begin with? Is it possible to find hope in a place of hopelessness? It's also the story of a guy who's been set on fire and punches people. It gives you such a unique feeling reading it because there is one big distinguishing trait I found with Tatsuki Fujimoto's work. It's fucking weird. Within chapter 1, Agni's sister is like,
I already know it's weird. I watched the first 2 episodes of Chainsaw Man. Will you make a baby with me, brother? Again, what do I expect from a nigga who eats his pets?
John, do you want to repopulate the world with me? And I was like, oh, Fire Punch. I didn't realize this was the kind of fire we—
They did it. They actually did it. They actually did it. They went through it. They went through it. Wait. No, there's no way this is the same story. It can't be.
we're going to be starting with here. But, you know, luckily before she could light the flames off the incest dumpster fire, she just became one. Ayo!
Okay.
One of the characters has an entire arc where they want to make a movie and cast Agni as the main character, which is like, Okay, another person meets a village doctor and he seems like a swell guy. He wants to save all the children and the dogs. Must be a good guy if he cares for dogs. And then out of nowhere, he's just like, so, wanna fuck my dogs?
Oh my god. Yes. Fire Punch is a must read now. I think I have to add it. It has to be added to the read list. What do y'all mean? What? Does that not sound like an interesting story to y'all? Y'all see all the nonsense going on? You don't know what could happen. Everything's a surprise.
And that's like some of the more normal plot developments that happen. The second half of Fire Punch is a psychedelic acid trip that goes more off the rails the more pages you turn, and I'm definitely gonna need another video to break this down because I need you guys to know. I can't be the only one to know what it feels like to be on Fujimoto's wild ride. If you think you know the direction this story is gonna take, you're wrong. Every time you think
So like
gonna
Attack
take
on
one
Titan.
step forward, he takes 2 steps left and levitates up. This is not the kind of series that will make any kind of sense in the traditional way, but if there's one thing I will guarantee, it's that it'll give you an experience like none that you've ever had before. And that's something I feel emanating out of all of this guy's works. He's someone that takes normal convention and drop kicks it out of the atmosphere. Someone who isn't afraid to throw in some batshit insane things into his work, even if he knows the general audience might not understand it. Fire Punch was a melting pot of raw ideas from a talent that had yet been refined. It is far from the perfect manga, but through the unhinged madness, I could tell that there was something special behind this vision. And I think Fujimoto learned a lot of lessons.
That's a fucking lie. You saw the man trying to offer his dogs for sex, and you're like, you know what? I need to read more. Stop the cap.
This because his future work would only grow to be more polished while maintaining his unique, insane style. Obviously in Chainsaw Man, but also in his one-shots, namely Look Back and Goodbye Eri.
Okay.
Most manga one-shots you see are around 50-ish or so pages, acting like an extended manga chapter, and yet this guy somehow had the gall to do 2 very notable one-shots, one being 143 pages, and the other being 200 pages.
I don't know how relevant
one-shot,
that is.
That's an entire fucking manga volume,
I don't know.
which I believe in the mangaka world we refer to as absolutely fucking cracked. But it was in reading these 2 titles that changed my perception of Fujimoto from just being a talented manga artist to being an absolute genius. Both of these one-shots tell stories you may be very familiar with. Look Back follows the life story of 2 manga artists that become friends, and Goodbye Eri is about dealing with the grief at the loss of a loved one.
Okay.
But they both take their own very weird turn with their own weird Fujimoto flair that will take more time for me to describe than for you to just go ahead and read them, so please just go fucking do that. They're both available.
No, nigga, explain to me what you're talking about. That's blue balling me.
You're blue balling me.
You literally just what? You slapped my cooch with your tip, you rubbed it a little bit, and then you didn't even put it in. Like, no, go into detail.
I would rather die than hear any of that again.
Jump app, and I guarantee you're not going to find a better way to spend 30-ish minutes of your life. What I realized is that Fujimoto has such a unique style of storytelling that feels almost intimate in a way. The man has a grasp of manga in a way others could only dream, and I think both these stories fully display what makes him so special. This is what it's like seeing a genius visual storyteller at work. He knows when to use dialogue and when to shut up and let his panels do the talking. Take this scene from Look Back. Fujino is just a kid who draws manga for fun. Her comics get published in the 4th grade newsletter and everyone praises her for it. She's talented, they say. She's the best there is, they say. There is no one that could be better than her.
And then
she is a manga genius. That is, until one day, another person her age publishes their art in exactly the same newsletter and completely blows hers out the water. Hers looks like an amateur scribble next to this mystery person.
That's what life is.
Everyone around her makes her know it. So, unwilling to yell, she practices. Day in, day out, she works to improve her art. Before she knows it, it's years later and she's looking at her new improved comic next to the same person who's also gotten drastically better in a way that she could never even hope to reach. Convinced there's no way she could ever compete, she gives up on manga. And so, time passes, and eventually she reaches graduation age. Her teacher asks to deliver a diploma that belongs to this mysterious rival that she never met. And after reluctantly going along with it, by complete chance, they meet. Turns out her rival was another girl that was a complete shut-in all this time that focused on nothing but art. She finds out that her rival was actually jealous of her and her storytelling skills, and on top of that was even a fan. After asking
Sign her back? I've never been at no meet and greet or none of that, but I guess they do be asking for you to sign some crazy places. I would never know.
for an autograph, the other girl, the rival, the person that in Fujino's mind she could never hope to compete with, calls her a manga genius.
Ooh.
And then, after saying goodbye, all you see her doing is walking away, and you see this.
She gets hit by a train.
This.
Hit by a truck.
This.
Hit by something.
Then you turn the page, and...
Oh. I wanted somebody to die.
It's rare to see such a mastery when it comes to visual storytelling. You can feel a wave of emotions shifting and turning in a way that's normally impossible to convey on a still page. Joy, excitement,
I was for sure expecting a truck to come out of
this
nowhere.
didn't feel like I was reading a
waiting
manga.
for a truck.
It felt like I was watching a movie, not with rough storyboards, but with real actors conveying their subtle emotions. And that's the magic of his work. His art is able to portray such a range of emotions and impact. One panel could be a silly character making a dumb face, and then the next could be a beautifully haunting existential nightmare.
This manga panel is actually crazy.
dumb-
This is a fire ass manga panel. This panel is amazing. This is the 10 out of 10 panel right here.
The next could be a beautifully haunting
Like look at the veins on this tree.
existential nightmare. The kinds of panel with such striking imagery that it will be burned into your psyche for years, decades for your life to come. It's this ability to switch on and off at a whim that makes Fujimoto a master. We are just puppets on his stage, with our emotions tethered to whatever he wants to express. And all this is on full display in Goodbye Eri, which is one of my favorite pieces of short fiction I've ever read. The
And
manga
live?
focuses on a boy trying to come to terms with his mother passing away from cancer, and he does this by making his own movie that he films with his own very weird.
Okay, y'all can't see it, but my camera is covering up an explosion and him saying goodbye, mom. That's all that is right there.
Weird and twisted personality. What makes this special isn't just the story that's told, but the way manga is used as a way to tell it. Almost every page in this manga is split into 4 panels, almost like they are frames from a movie itself. The movie being made in this story. Sometimes we are cutting to different scenes, sometimes it's a behind the scenes shot, and sometimes there are entire double page spreads of almost the exact same panel, just so we can see subtle movement and expression. Which means the few times
Sounds like a waste of paper to me. Sounds like he don't give a fuck about trees to me. The same panel with slight differences. Man, you go out there and cut some lumber. See how it is wasting paper.
the few times
Wait, he blew up the hospital his mom was at? Wait, what? What the fuck? Okay. All right. Fire plot. Loving it.
a page breaks this paneling formula, it impacts you in a new way I've never really experienced. It hits different, okay? I tried to find another way to say it. There isn't. It just hits fucking different, alright? The narrative takes you on a journey of what you perceive as real, reframing your perception as you continue reading. Right up until the end, it weaves in and out of some perfect blue-esque reality, and we're here to figure out whether we're watching a play or whether we're watching real life unfold. The fourth wall isn't broken. The fourth wall is removed entirely, and we as an audience are wondering if it ever existed in the first place. This isn't a manga. This is an indie film that's been playing inside of Fujimoto's mind, and we've been lucky enough to get front row seats at its screening. Somehow, he's made cinematic manga a thing. This one shot packs more emotion in these 200 pages than most manga do in their entire run. There are twists, there are turns, there's that same Fujimoto weirdness that takes you to a place you'd never thought the story would go, but
You know, I'm hearing all this, right? But is it better than Dragon Ball? I still haven't heard, oh, it's better than this or that. So it doesn't sound like it's better than Dragon Ball to me.
of it all, there is a message, loud and clear, that culminates in a final panel that blew me away. This was, in the simplest of terms, a masterpiece. If it was a real screening, I would have stood up and given a standing ovation. And that's why I don't think I'm overstating it when I say Tatsuki Fujimoto could be one of the future GOATs of manga. It's rare that you see such a raw talent in any field, and we are just now witnessing the start of his journey. I'm very surprised Chainsaw Man blew up as much as it did.
Me
Telling
too.
me his work would be something that appeals to mainstream audiences would be
Me
about
too.
as surprising as telling me that David Lynch is directing the next MCU movie. But at the same time, I'm really glad that
Who the fuck is David Lynch?
Behind all this craziness, behind all the weirdness, behind all the batshit insane ideas, there is a raw desire for expression. You can feel Tatsuki Fujimoto's pure passion for storytelling bleeding out of every single panel he does. Some of it may be pretty out there, but through it, I sense a conviction like no other from someone who's so unwilling to compromise on his vision, even if it means having to stick the middle finger to popular convention. And all this sets the stage for the Chainsaw Man anime to drop, as the wider world can get a glimpse of the face of a new manga juggernaut of our time.
Tatsuki Fujimoto. Okay. We have to look out for Tatsuki Fujimoto. Oh my god, you know what? We have to watch out for the Chainsaw Man manga artist, okay? I'm not saying his name.